Part 2 of 26 things I learned by 26. The next thing I learned was I'd rather have a flawed person that I can trust than a perfect person that I can't trust. A lot of young business people, guys or girls or whatever, sometimes once they have even a small amount of success, I wouldn't define myself as successful yet by any means. We've got a big company, big team, but there's people with thousands of employees with 100,000 times our revenue. But we have built something and I'm grateful for it. But people really struggle to build meaningful friendships. And I've realized that I'd rather have a friendship with someone that seems a bit odd, a bit off center, maybe they're missing social cues, but at least I know I can trust them. Because sometimes it's the person that speaks super fluently, is highly charismatic, knows exactly what to say, when to say it. That is the biggest danger to you compared to the person that is maybe very awkward in their demeanor, but you can trust them. And the older I get, the more important I realize this is. Quality people, right? I made a video recently, go ahead and watch it if you haven't seen it, talking about I don't trust nice men, right? And obviously there's a bit of context towards that because I'd like to think I'm a generally kind person. But yeah, I'm very comfortable with the awkward person that's real and a bit more authentic as opposed to the polished person. And a big thing I've been doing, I think in the last particularly 3 years, is showing where I'm unpolished. And that's been really fun, right? Because I think I spent a portion, I wouldn't say I've been like that since probably 21, but I would say a lot of my late teens, especially in high school, I kind of learned how to talk proper and behave in a way that was conducive to certain environments, which I still do. I'm a business guy, don't get me wrong, but I'm a lot quicker to demonstrate my flaws purposely, just to show the dexterity of my being, and that I'm a human, and that I make mistakes, and that I've learned from my mistakes. And ironically, that's also what helps deals get closed, by the way. Another thing I've learned is how important speed really is. And truthfully, I've moved too slow in many scenarios. Speed is vital, and you never really know how slow you are until you get around people that are performing at such a high level that it completely redefines what you define as quick. I have people in my network that make nearly $100,000 a day, sub 25. I wanted to be a millionaire by 21. I'm 25, I'm not a millionaire, I'm 26 tomorrow. Still, I don't think I'll be a millionaire by tomorrow. But I'll likely be a millionaire during my 26th year on earth, or at least a 7-figure company. We have pretty big size already. So, we'll probably generate even a few millions potentially in 2026. But the difference between me and these other guys that are younger or a bit older, that if we're using finance as the means to compare, that are doing better, it's simply that they just move so much faster. Decision, boom, done. And they're getting data very quickly on the decision, which allows them to outperform and to win. And I've been able to be more cognizant of that. And that's something that I'll be aiming to do a lot more in my 26th year of life. Because I understand the power of it and the compounding effects of it. And it's allowed me to grow my company. But I'm aware that there is levels to speed that I'm still yet to master. And I'm excited to learn it. Another thing, and this is obvious to business people, but may not be obvious to people that aren't in business. Revenue doesn't mean anything. Profit does. Without disclosing too much, this year, we have already made more revenue, and the year's not even over yet, more revenue than my company has ever made in a year, already by October. In fact, the amount of revenue we've made this year is probably 50% of my entire career's revenue that I've ever made. So I've been doing this for 6, coming up in 7 years. The last 12 months, I've made 50% of my total 7-year earnings in revenue. In saying that, We're a bootstrapped company. So I don't have investors. There's no bank loans. There has been points this year, because of how fast we've been growing, where I've legitimately filled out applications to get money from a bank. And oftentimes I end up denying it. I'm just like, I'll use my own cash or like savings or whatever. But it's been to facilitate for the extra staff because we've been trying to keep up with the growth. Irony. So ironically this year, I've profited, at least in my own pocket, less than I profited last year when we were stagnant, right? But I also have more assets. Like I live in this beautiful office/apartment now. We have 5, actually officially 6 account managers, which is crazy. We only had 1 in March and we had 0 in January. We're now a consulting and agency group, not just one agency, we're a group, which is awesome. I'm starting to slowly get into the acquisitions game as well. A lot of my 2026, the second half of next year, will be a lot of me doing acquisitions of companies, which is super cool, right? Mini Alex Hormozy. I'm joking, Alex, if you're watching this, you're a G, I'm learning from you. I'm not at your level yet, but it's cool that I can start to play at this level. And I'm starting to look at business, not just in terms of get a client, keep a client, get a client, keep a client, lose a client, get a client, keep a client. I'm starting to look at things in sense of, okay, I now have a group of companies that are all in one model, which is the marketing agency model. And if I was to sell my whole group, I probably could sell for like a couple $1 million. I wouldn't sell, right? But it's cool to know that like, all right, like I'm starting to play at like a different level of the game. I'm not playing at trying to get to your first 10K a month. Like, no, I've been done that like many years ago. Well, not many, but like a few years ago. I'm not even trying to get to the first 50K a month. I've done that as well. Like, you know what I mean? Not even the first 100K. Like the goal is no longer an MRR milestone. It's more like build up leaders, make sure each account manager has a great pod, build underneath that pod, make sure they get close proximity to me. This is also the first, only in the last 3 months this has happened. As of this year, and it even brings up some emotions, me saying this, I'm no longer the only closer. Guys, for 6 years, every single deal, I was closing it. Every single deal. Out of the 400 clients that we've served, give or take 50, every single deal, Dami closed them. I know Dami. I work with Dami. But now it's cool. My team can have an appointment setter, set it for someone. It can get closed by someone else. The account manager is by someone else, right? It's such a blessing. And it took so long to get there. But we're finally at a point where my sole focus, yes, is still to like sell. I'm still the primary closer, but it's really to inspire my sales team, build leadership within the sales team. Probably in Q1, we'll be looking at bringing in a COO, which is such a blessing. It's so cool to say this, like to have someone running the day-to-day of my company, probably in like March or April of next year. That's kind of what we're pacing, is a real possibility now, you know? And I'll be paying them a salary that I would have not even imagined to pay someone, right? But I'm already thinking, all right, cool. Like I'm almost looking forward to paying someone like 6 figures a year to like run the day-to-day of Clientele Boosters, not just marketing agency, Clientele Boosters marketing agency, but also Clientele Boosters consulting group, right? Which brings me to my next thing. This game, going back to business, is simply how long you can get hit and keep moving forward. Shout out to that guy that had that inspirational YouTube video that we all watched as teenagers with that black guy. I've been running this agency for over 6 years. And only 2025, I started this in 2019 at 19 years old. Only in 2025, I now have another closer that can actually close. We have 2 closers actually, to be clear. Third one is yet to close his first deal, but it's looking like it'll be this month. 6 years. How many of you guys can commit to a business model for 6 years? And don't get me wrong, I've tried multiple businesses. I've done drop shipping, I've done e-com, I've had a cleaning business, I've had various nightclubs. Like I've had apps, I've been in the NFT space, SaaS, Airbnb arbitrage. I've had agencies that have worked, agencies that have failed. I've had events, I've had festivals, I've had production companies. Guys, like so many things. YouTube channels, faceless YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, Web3 projects where we needed funding, so we're reaching out to angel investors. Sometimes I don't even feel 25. Like and that sounds kind of cringe, but it's true. Like sometimes I feel like, sometimes I'll say something to someone and I'll be like, oh yeah, back in my early 20s. It's like, bro, your early 20s was like 2 years ago, chill. And it's like, they're right, but like each year, so much happens. Like last year we did dating shows in different countries, bro. You know what I mean? And that was just like one venture. So staying the course is something that I take so much pride in. And I can't even wait to get to the point where I'm like, hey guys, I've been running the same team for 10 years. I'm 29 years old. We do 100 million a month across the agency group, right? And I know I'm making these numbers sound like lackadaisical, like whatever, but, or like it's nothing, especially from someone that hasn't even made 100 million yet, or someone that hasn't even made 10 million for himself with his own company yet. For his clients, different story. We've done probably more than 10 million by this point. But yeah, a lot of you guys don't have endurance. You know, my sales guys are at the point where they're like, oh, here's our strategy to get 2 clients a day. And we're not there yet, but we closed 2 clients today, so they're obviously hyped off of that. But if we get to a point, guys, just give you some honest maths. We charge more money now, right? Like if we're closing 2 clients a day, if our average client now pays us 2K a month, as an example, that's $4,000 a day times 30 days in a month. That's an extra 120K a month. Obviously we have a small percentage of churn. Our churn's around 8 to 10%. We're trying to get that lower, to be honest with you. We actually had it lower last year, which is ironic because we grew less. But anyway, if we eventually get to the point where my sales guys are closing 2 deals a day, that's an extra 120K a month on top of our existing billing. So we're at a point where like we can really look at this kind of leverage that we have. But this is based off me being in sales since I was like 18, nearly 8 years in sales. Prior to being full-time in my agency, I was head of sales for a company, a startup. Prior to that, I was in tech sales for one of the fastest growing startups on earth at a point in time. Prior to that, you know, I was in sales for 2 different agencies. Prior to that, I was working in sales at YD, the clothing store, right? I was in a multi-level marketing scheme at 18. That already there was 18 to 21, 3 years of personal development. A lot of you guys weren't there seeing me getting rejected, going to my neighbors that have known me since I was a kid and then being like rude because I was trying to promote a business that I believed in. Or having friends not pick up or respond to my phone because I was in an MLM and they were like scared I was gonna forcefully recruit them, even though I was a 19-year-old kid just trying different things out. And how a lot of them will look back and ask me for jobs now, right? And I'm only 26. I'm only 26 and that's happening already, you know? So a lot of you guys need to learn how to stay the course. It's about endurance. Pick a model, stick to it. You gotta be boring with it, man. You gotta get those reps in, you know? There's opportunities that will come up and you gotta be able to say no to them. And that's just what it is. Anyway, the next thing that I learned, you actually have to be business is not for everyone because you have to be really thick-skinned, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people underestimate the mental, I won't say torture, but there's a certain level of pain tolerance. You just have to have and wake up and just deal with, no matter how you feel. And the reason why is because business literally is you competing for resources. If it wasn't money, then it'll be hundreds or thousands of years ago when it was like cows. I want 100 cows. So you have to take someone else's cows. That's the brutal reality. But if you create enough abundance for the village, then they'll want to give you their cows, right? If you create enough value for the greater society, then they'll want to give you money. But you gotta be tough, man. And people are cutthroat, you know, transparently. There's clients that I've basically had to nearly take to court this year. And ironically, and I'm fortunate to say this, and I'm not just, like, I know where my flaws are. Like, I can tell you straight up, have we missed guarantees before for our clients? Of course. But that's maybe 5 or 10% of our entire client base where we miss a guarantee. And if we miss, we work for free. That's no issue. But, you know, I've had clients where they owe me thousands and thousands of dollars and they stopped responding. We hit certain KPIs. And then I discovered that their business is insolvent and they were using their wife's name or something to run their business so they couldn't be traced back to them, you know? And I'm also pretty patient because I'm like, look, it's okay. Like if you want to take this further, then it's okay. You know, and that's not me getting into too much details, but you got to be a soldier. This business is hard, but it's highly rewarding. Another thing I've learned is the importance of sleep. I've talked about this many times. My sleep actually, the first half of the year was pretty good. I'd say that the latter half of the year hasn't been as good. Sleep is really good. The stronger the quality of your sleep, I dare say that the greater decisions you can make, which allows you to make more money. Sleep, I think, has been correlated highly with my success, especially in the last 2 to 3 years. The next thing that I learned is that you can't let life derail you from your mission. In this year alone, 2025, I have lost 3 friends, one of them being one of my best friends, to violence. It's been an incredibly painful year in that respect, incredibly painful. And despite the funerals, despite editing the video for one of the funerals, bestie of mine, there's been weeks, by the way, where it was harder than others, but we still kept growing. You can't let life derail you. And sometimes you will get hit with something that you don't think you can heal from or get over, but the decision to keep going in spite of that is where you garner respect for yourself and from others. And life has humbled me in many ways with this lesson, having lost one best friend to cancer at 18 years old and another one to violence, all before 26, has really allowed me to understand, one, how short life is, but 2, like, how many more people I gotta probably make $1 billion for. You know, it was ironic. The money itself won't even satiate you. And I'm saying this as a non-rich person. I'm just saying this as a young guy that has a company that's pretty big and is established. But the money itself, you can eat nicer food. Like, I've got a private chef. It's cool that I get to say that. A year ago, it would have felt cringe, but it's cool that I get to say that. And that feels good, especially the first time. It's like, cool, I've got a cook, I've got a chef. I can just wake up and sell, like, or someone cooking me. Like, that's super cool. And then what happens then? What? Okay, I get a private chef that makes just steaks. I get a private chef that makes, food from farm. Okay, I get a jet. Okay, I'm now worth 5 million, then I'm worth 10. Like, does that feel cool for like a week? 100%. And I'm excited for certain financial milestones and lifestyle milestones. Like, this place I'm living in is another huge milestone. I'm very grateful. But what I think is even cooler is, you know, the ways in which we get to commemorate the people that weren't able to be with you, you know? So there's a lot of people that I'm gonna commemorate and I'm celebrating life for. And I'm using various products and services that I own to highlight the significance of their life and their impact on my character and myself and what they've done for the greater community. But yeah, you can't let life derail you. Despite how soul-crushing it is.